start with the cotton up at the top. So the colors that we're using, for those of you who missed it, we're using dark chocolate, dove gray, peacock teal, Bahama blue, oyster beige, pebble and burlap, and white and black, I think. Okay. So we're just going to start by painting our entire cotton area here. Let me move these out of the way. Our entire cotton area here white. Let's see. How is everybody tonight? Brooklyn said, I can't wait to see how cute this turns out. Me too, Brooklyn. I think I've painted one of these before. It's been a long time ago. I don't really remember. Hang on, I need to make sure that my time-lapse video is centered up here, or I will be sorely disappointed later if I can't see it. Okay. So what was I going to tell you guys? Oh, if you want to get the printable template to this, it's $5. You can get it by saying the word link. You can also get the blank. It is available in 20, 12, 8, and 6 inches in size. 20 is like your standard door hanger size. 12 works great for like a wreath attachment or a porch sign attachment, or even just something cute to set on a shelf. Or like a mini door hanger for like a kid's door or something, or an office door. And then 8-inch size is usually a good like door hanger attachment size or large ornament. And then the 6-inch size makes a good ornament size as well. Alright, so I got the entire thing covered in white. I'm going to just kind of go over it again in longer strokes, smoothing it out. And see, I'm getting it all over the stem, but I don't really care because my brown is going to cover that. Alright, now I'm dipping my brush in a little bit of water. And we're going to use just a little tiny bit of this oyster beige color to create some shading on our cotton. So I just dipped the teeny tiny corner of my brush, and I'm using a fairly large size brush here. My phone is like buzzing nonstop over here. Awesome, we got all of you guys. Somebody's listening to the rain. It is about to start raining here. Okay, let me see if you guys can see this. Hang on, we gotta adjust cameras. Hang with me just a moment. There we go. Okay. So, let's see if you guys can see this. I'm dipping just the corner of my brush. You got to use the same corner. Can't keep switching corners. And I'm going to kind of go around the outer edge of my cotton. And something just fell in the paint. Let's see if I can fish it out. It's almost easier to fish out with a paintbrush sometimes. I think it's just a piece of the paintbrush that chipped off. I don't know. Dip that corner again, and now we're just going to kind of create tufts in the cotton. Does that make sense? So you're going to just do a swooping motion, and you want to do this while your white paint is still quite wet. That way it blends and smooths, and you get a really nice shaded look. Now you don't want your cotton to look really dirty. And you can do this with gray too. If you prefer like a gray shadow instead of like a beige shadow, you could use gray instead. So let me show you what this looks like. See how that looks nice and like tufted? And it's not really strong. If you want it stronger, you can always use a darker tan. I may go just a little bit stronger on a couple places because I want it to show up pretty well. And it doesn't have to be shaded really well. It just needs to be smoothed out. It'll be fine. What size is this brush? It is a size 12. It's like a pretty large flat tip brush. It's probably about 1 inch wide, give or take a little bit. All right, if you guys don't mind sprinkling the love for me, I so appreciate it when you all do that. I may choose like 3 people who sprinkle the love to give this template to, so that you guys can cut your own. Here come my children. What's up?
Maybe for video games.
Yeah, if all your chores are done.
It's raining, Mom.
And is it 7? Yep.
It's raining.
The rule in our house is you don't get to play video games unless all your chores are done and your room is picked up and it's 7 p.m. or later and homework has to be done. So we run a tight ship around here. All right, now I'm getting the dark chocolate brown, and I'm just going to go in and color the stem here. It's probably going to take a couple coats of this to get it nice and smoothed out. Thank you guys for sprinkling the love. Make sure you tell me, because if you don't comment and tell me, a lot of times it won't let me see who did it and who didn't. So by commenting, that lets me know that you did that. I appreciate that. And if you already have this template, don't worry. You can still be included on this little giveaway. We will, instead of giving you this exact template, we could give you like a credit to go pick another template in the shop. Something like that. Okay, we're going to go back and give that another coat. And that's actually very splotchy. I had too much paint on my brush, so I'm just taking my brush and kind of scraping the excess off on the side of my egg carton. I'm going to dip my brush in a little bit of water, smooth it out on my paper towel just a little bit, and then I'm going to go back and smooth this. I was trying to get the paint on a little too thick. Sometimes I do that if I'm in a hurry and talking and not paying attention. And so you could see my brush strokes really badly. So I'm just going to go over this again real quick and smooth this out. So if you're having that problem too, it's probably because you put too much paint on your door hanger to start with, and you need to like thin it out a little bit. And so sometimes you can do like that, and you can still get some excess off your brush and keep going over it until it looks nice and smooth. So just kind of, it almost picks the paint back up. Does that make sense? So you go back over it again, it lifts up some more paint, and then you can go back and scrape that paint off on the side of your egg carton or on a paper towel or something like that. Alright, so next we're going to use Pebble, and we are going to paint our letter M. I'm going to use my large brush again. I like this brush because it picks up a lot of paint at one time, and it can paint a large area. So this M is rather large, and we're just going to go ahead and cover it with this Pebble color. It's kind of a soft, lighter brown color. The good thing about these etched lines is that even though I'm painting over them, I can still kind of see them after they get covered in paint, and that allows me to go back and add details later and follow the paint lines instead of trying to figure out where the M started and stopped and stuff like that. It's really handy if you're painting something that's really super detailed and you need to remember all the little details in it, and you want to just paint one area a color. This is a fairly large door hanger, even though it's 20 inches, which is standard door hanger size. Because it's 20 inches across and 20 inches left to right and up and down, it's fairly big. That's one of my favorite things, is like if I'm ever have enough time to kill during the day, if I ever have a few moments to myself, I love to go in and look at y'all's photos in Painters Clubhouse, see what everybody's been up to, and I live vicariously through what you guys get to paint. Alright, we've got our M all covered. It's this really nice soft pebble brown color. Next we're going to paint our letter H. We're going to paint it all one color first, and then we're going to go back and add stripes. So first we're going to paint it this burlap color. It's a lighter tan than the pebble. And then we're going to go back and add turquoise stripes. And then we're going to do the E in turquoise with polka dots. So this, you're not going to be able to tell a big difference between the paint and the color of the wood. But, well, I actually created these designs because I know a lot of our designs are very whimsical, very colorful, cartoony almost. And so my sister-in-law, for example, she's the one who kind of inspired some of these designs. And she has her whole house kind of decorated kind of farmhouse-like. And so I knew that she wanted something for her front door that was kind of farmhouse inspired. And and she loves cotton. So I created all of these cotton designs with her in mind because they're a little less whimsical. They're a little bit more neutral colors. And they all are like farmhouse inspired. So I just love them. And so she's currently got the cotton milk jug door hanger hanging on her front door. You guys may have seen it on my Facebook feed. She has a gorgeous mustard yellow door. It's not really mustard yellow. It's a very soft yellow. It's really pretty. And then that cotton door hanger is gorgeous hanging on it. It was perfect for her decor. Do you have the ribbon for breast cancer? We actually last Friday, not this past Friday, but the Friday before, we released 5 breast cancer awareness designs. So just go over to the shop and type in breast cancer or maybe ribbon, I'm not sure. and see if you can see them. But they shouldn't be very far down on the page because we just released them last week. So some of them have the word hope in them, so you could also search for the word hope. All right, so we've got this one all in the tan color that's called Burlap. And let's go ahead, and I told you guys I was going to mix a color for this turquoise because the turquoise that I have is really bright, and I want something a little bit more muted. So we're going to have to mix a lot of this because I don't want to mix it more than once. It's hard to match the paint colors when you do that. So I'm just going to finish up this bottle. Alright, and we're going to see what it looks like. Mixing colors can get very tricky because sometimes you start to add color and you realize it went the wrong direction. So we're going to just test this a little bit. Add just a few drops of gray. Now when I mix colors, I like to use the opposite end of my paintbrush and just kind of swirl in a circular fashion. Let me see what this is doing to the color. I think we're on the right track, so let's add some more. I tried to mix it only with like a corner or like a little, just a tiny bit of the paint first, not the entire little puddle, just to see what it was doing to the paint color before I proceeded. It's lightening it up quite a bit. Let me add a little bit more. We want it to be a muted turquoise. We don't want it to be super bright. So I think this is going to work. This is looking very much kind of like what I had in mind. I'll show you guys in just a moment. I keep adding more because we want it to be just right so we don't have to mix it again. So let me show you kind of what we created here. Can you see this color? It's much more muted than this color. It probably looks the same to y'all, but it's different, I promise. Okay, we're gonna, whoops. Let me kind of get the excess water out of my brush because I made a mess. We're gonna paint the letter E first, this color. And then we'll go back and add stripes to the H. It just toned down the brightness of the color. The color is still very pretty. It's just not nearly as intense. We muted it just a little bit. Turned down the volume. Do you have requests on things to paint? Not sure if you've painted one yet, but would love to see you paint an elf. Sometimes I don't take requests like I used to because we kind of have everything planned out in advance, what I'm going to be painting. Now on Instagram stories, when we come out with new designs each Friday, we usually choose 2 of those designs and post them in Instagram stories and do a poll. And we usually ask you guys which of the 2 you would like to see me paint on Tuesday, because I paint live here every Tuesday. Sometimes it's during the day, sometimes it's at night. It just kind of depends on my schedule and how my day went. Today was a busy day. I did lots of shipping. So that's why you see me on here tonight. But so if you want to ever go and vote on those polls, the polls are usually posted on Friday sometime, and you can go and vote in Instagram stories. You may be able to vote from Facebook stories too, but I'm not quite sure. And so this one was the one that won this week. So that's why I'm painting this one. Now, if you are the type of person that loves to watch me paint, but you know that you're never going to take the time to actually paint one of these and you want to buy one already painted, you can get this one that looks exactly like this in my shop. All you got to do is say the word link and it'll send you over there. Right now, it's just an example photo of how it would be painted, but after the video, I usually upload the photo of what it looks like painted so that you guys can see it. This is a beautiful color. Reminds me of the ocean. It looks backwards. That's because we're in selfie mode, Michelle, and Facebook, for whatever reason, will not let me flip the camera out of selfie mode. What kind of paint do I use? Decor Americana matte acrylics. Alright, so now I got a little bit of this paint on my brush. Actually, I probably need to hit it with the hairdryer for just a second. If you missed me saying it earlier, be sure to sprinkle the love across Facebook and tell me that you did so in the comments. Actually 3 somebodies will be getting one of these templates, the printable templates to cut your own at home. And if you already have this template, then you can have store credit to choose something different. Alright, so I'm just going to really willy-nilly here. We're going to Just do stripes. We're not going to make it super complicated. We're not even going to try to make them perfect. We're just going to go right on across. Because this H is not super straight. It's a very whimsical shaped H. So if I were to try to do perfectly straight stripes, it would not look right. So we are just going to... The only thing is you got to be careful and not get it all over your cotton like I just did. It's okay. We can clean it up later. And so this one's going to go all the way across. The thing is, with door hanger painting, it doesn't have to be perfect, especially if it's a whimsical design. And if it looked perfect, it would probably be sold in Hobby Lobby. And people buy things that are pre-manufactured for a reason, and then people buy things handmade for a reason. And so if they're buying from you handmade, they're not expecting perfection. They just want something handmade. So don't agonize over it. Don't get your perfectionist pants on. I need a shirt that says that. Just try to enjoy the process. Enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy painting it. And I promise you will be so much happier with your results. Okay, this is looking stinking cute. Alright, so next we need to do polka dots. I'm going to get my little polka dot sponge. So if you don't know what these are the little craft polka dot sponges you can get at like Walmart or different places in the craft aisle. Next I'm using Bahama Blue. We're just going to, and some of you guys complain because you've got your perfectionist pants on again. You complain that these little polka dot sponges create bubbles. Well, guess what? They create bubbles for everybody, but we still use them. We love them. They make doing polka dots so easy. Hang on, we got to dry this E. That's the thing about farmhouse designs. They can't be super bright. This turquoise is pretty bright for farmhouse. Farmhouse is usually very black and white, but I can't do anything without a little bit of color. That's just me. So we're using this. This is actually pretty bright too, but it's okay. A little bit of bright's never going to hurt anybody. This is Bahama Blue, and if you say you have little bubbles in your dots, everybody does. It's okay. And so just kind of do a dot, push down, do a little twist, lift up. I do my little dots in threes. 1, 2, 3. And see how I could draw a triangle between those 3 little dots? So then I take the last 2 that I did and create another triangle. 1, 2, 3. And you can actually do several dots without stopping. And it makes the process so super fast. So I redip my brush. My sponge. And I got a lot on there. You don't want a lot. So scrape the excess off on the side of your paper plate or something until it looks like you almost don't have any left on there. Like you can't see it really. It's soaked in. And so now you're going to want to, let's see. Technically this gets tricky. If you, I don't even have my baby wipes in here, so I'm going to have to make do. But normally I would go ahead and do a polka dot here and then just clean up the excess where it went over. But I'm kind of afraid to do that because I don't have my baby wipes in here. So we're just going to avoid that little spot and put polka dots somewhere else for right now. So you want to just kind of get them randomly placed. But it makes them look better if you do them in threes. So there really needs to be one right here. So I'm going to kind of just loosely draw that and then fill it in with a brush. Let me put this in here. Okay. Hang on. Alright, I've got a round tip brush here. And I'm just going to carefully draw in that one because I want it to kind of be half on the M, or half behind that letter M. But I normally would just go ahead and stamp it down there and then clean up the excess with a baby wipe. But all my baby wipes are not in here for some reason. This is looking so cute. And we are almost done. We just need to add our accents and our highlights, and we need to give this stem a second coat of the dark chocolate brown. And then I'm going to show you the cutest little way to add some accents to this cotton ball to really make it cute. You got to add that accent in there. Okay. Let me look it over. I see a little spot up here. Actually, okay, this is a good teaching moment. Let me show you something. For just a moment here, I saw this spot where my paint, can you see this? Where my paint got over onto my cotton ball. Can you see that? And I wanted to correct it. I wanted to go over it with some white and fix it. But then I remembered, oh, we're fixing to do a bunch of accents with like the outlines and the highlights and all of that stuff. And when you do all of that stuff, it hides all kinds of little problems. So watch this. You saw that little problem spot right there, right? Where the blue got onto the little cotton ball right here, and you thought it was going to be a problem. But let me get my paints out of the way. We're going to get some black paint. We're not going to add a pattern on the M. That would just be too much. Why is my paint stopped up tonight? It's the second one I've had that problem with. We're just going to pour it out. So get just a little bit of black. And then you're going to get a round tip brush. This is the important part too, is you want the right size brush. So when I say a round tip brush, I don't mean one of these itty bitty ones. Let me try to find one as an example. I don't mean one like this that's so teeny tiny it's not going to hold much paint. You need one more like this that's full bodied. It's got lots of bristles. It's got lots of spring to it. See how it bounces right back up? You don't want it to be too stiff, but you want it to be nice and springy. I'm going to dip it in a little bit of water to kind of soften it up. And then you're going to get your black paint. And if your black paint feels thick at all, you may want to add just a touch of water to kind of thin it out a little. No, I'm not left-handed, Bonnie. We're in selfie mode here, which flips everything backwards. Somebody said, can you buy the template already cut? Yes, we do sell the blanks. Just say the word link, and you can get the printable template, the blank, or the painted version if you want to just buy one finished. And it also has all kinds of great resources there. And it'll ask you if you want my free ebook. Okay, so here's where the cute, super whimsical part comes. I said whimsical, and I told y'all this wasn't going to be whimsical, but this is the really cute part. So you get plenty of that black paint loaded up on your round tip brush, and you got to do this quickly, but just do a little swirl with a little curly cue in it. Now, you're going to kind of take your round tip brush, I dipped it in paint again, and you're just going to kind of go around the edges, and it doesn't have to be perfect. If your hands shake a little bit, try resting your pinky finger on the table and pull with your wrist. And you can even do a couple of cute little dots like that. And now right here, where I had that paint that accidentally got over the line, looky here. Oh, now you can't even see it. No problemo. So there's our cotton. Now we're going to do the same thing with our stem. And I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, and y'all are probably going to be like, oh my goodness, how does she paint that fast? When I used to do paint parties, I used to do this part for people at the end of the party. They would all bring their door hangers up to me, and I would go through and add all of the little accent lines and the highlights, and it would just bring their door hanger alive. They would just go, come on, Tamara, do your magic. And so I got so used to tracing these with my brush that I really feel like it's almost muscle memory, and I could do it in my sleep at this point. So, and I really want to emphasize here, it does not have to be perfect. I'm not trying to stay on the lines perfectly, not even really finishing my brush strokes perfectly. I'll show you guys kind of up close in a moment what I mean by that. And in some places I'm doing a couple of little dots to kind of add just a little bit of interest. We're going to go back and add some white highlights too in a moment. Hi, Karen from Milton. How would you hang this? How would this look painted just to hang on the wall? There are people who use these door hangers to hang on their wall. I personally don't. I like using them on my front door, but you totally could. And you would just staple jute string to the back and hang it on a nail. Easy peasy. But don't agonize over getting these little accent lines perfect. They are not going to be perfect. Actually, I kind of think that the slightly messier they are, the better they look. Because it looks more handmade and artistic. So, just keep dipping your brush if you're having a hard time getting the paint to like go on smoothly. You just need to re-dip your brush. Okay, let me double check that I got all the spots. Yes, I did. Let me show you up close real quick how imperfect this is, but it's still really cute. See how the M, it doesn't perfectly outline the letter. It doesn't perfectly start and stop. It's not even the same thickness all the way around. But look, hanging up on your door like this, it's going to be so cute, and nobody's going to notice all those tiny little imperfections. So let's finish it up with some highlights. What number is your round brush? This one is a size 6. Cindy says, I think that's my biggest fear. What's your biggest fear, Cindy? Trying to make it perfect? Okay, so now we're going to get our white. Same brush, I rinsed it out. And we're just going to go back, and you can do it a couple different ways. So you could do the little dots, little highlights on your dots like this. Or you could just highlight the shape of the letter E, which is what I'm going to do on the letter M. So it's up to you, however you want to do it. So I'm just going to kind of accent the shape of this letter with a little bit of white. And I'm totally not making this perfect, as I've stated like 10 times. Okay, and then on the H, I'm going to kind of do like I did on the E and just accent the stripes. The reason we do this is it kind of busies it up just a little bit more so that your eye isn't drawn to any one particular place. Because you want your eye to take in the entire design all at once. I'm sorry that it's backwards. We've tried to flip the camera and it doesn't work. So your eye immediately, because of all those little white accents and all of the black outlines, your eye immediately takes in the entire design at one time instead of focusing on just the E or just the H or whatever. And so it also kind of unifies the design. I feel really fancy saying all of this, but it kind of unifies the design and pulls everything together and gives it a cohesiveness, if that makes sense. Because we have so much going on here with the different colors and the different patterns, but by doing those outlines to each letter, it really pulled it all together so that it feels like a completed design. So there it is. If you want to make your own, you can say link and you can get the printable template for $5. You can get the door hanger blank in 4 different sizes. You can get it etched. That way everything is perfectly outlined, like the stem and stuff and the letters. Or you can get it with no etching, and that actually saves you a little bit of money. If you feel comfortable with drawing just a few like slight little details on it, you can get no etching and it'll save you a little bit of money. But if you guys are interested in Painters Clubhouse, it will open up again in the spring. So you can just go to paintersclubhouse.com, say link, we'll send you the link. You can go over there and get on the wait list so that you'll be notified as soon as it opens up. I don't want you guys to miss it. We also have a free Facebook group where you can go and post your creations. So just say link and you will get all the links to all the things. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed so much spending this time with you guys, and I hope y'all have a great Tuesday night. I had to think a minute what day it was. I'll be back again on Friday morning here on my Facebook page for Friday Fab 5, where I share 5 of my favorite things with you guys that I'm currently loving and using in my home or in my craft room. You never know what it's going to be. And then, of course, next Tuesday I'll be back again painting live with you guys. So y'all have a great day. I will see y'all again next time. Don't forget to sprinkle the love. Somebody will be getting this template